What's up, everyone? My name is Chris Marshall with my boy Frank G. We are the hosts of Build Your Empire podcast. Frank G, tell the people what we do.
What's going on, everybody? Chris and I, we discuss established empires while showcasing us building ours.
Shout out to all the listeners. We had a great episode last week with Evan Tripp, Flick.me. Check it out. But that episode did very well. I gained a lot of feedback. Certainly appreciate all that listen. Frank G, what's good?
You know, speaking of Evan Tripp, I was watching Shark Tank the other night, and this guy had something else for his car, and it made me think of him. And it just made me think of how I guarantee the Sharks would have jumped on that product.
So it's funny you say that because I would actually probably disagree, even though I'm in favor of that product, only because that product, and we spoke about it, it's hard to me, I think, to potentially forecast sales.
Yeah, I guess that depends on, LY, obviously, and then what retailers you're in, if you're going to be in any retailers.
Correct. That's scaling, right? So Evan particularly, who is doing amazing, and I saw him over the weekend. He is the man. He was drinking Corona right out the bottle like a stud.
Very
But
nice.
yeah, I was like, man, you're at a wedding, vodka club all day, baby. Vodka
Always.
club all day.
Always.
But he's trying to scale, right, to eventually amass that opportunity and get there. I think it's hard. You gotta flip a lot of inventory for an investor to truly get behind it.
Yeah, because at that point, if you don't, they would want more equity, right? So if you're like beginning, I guess they would try and get like 40% of your company.
Now, what I think Evan is doing differently than most people who start businesses or in the product manufacturing is he's branding himself. And we spoke about this a lot. I'm
Absolutely.
heavy into branding. I think branding is everything. So I think a lot of times the Sharks in that instance, without a brand, say it's a product, not a business. You know how they throw that out there a lot?
Yeah, all the time. Because let's say you're selling, I don't know, empanadas. And if you don't have a brand and it's not a popular brand with a name, anyone could sell empanadas.
Exactly. So I think that could be a possibility, but I'm huge into branding, and I think as the digital world gets more and more in depth, and we're gonna have VR coming very soon. Um, Branding is everything, man. I think you got to brand your name. You got to brand some logo that represents a digital interface.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you live in two lives.
Well, now with today's social media obviously being so prevalent and these influencers, so they pretty much brand, I guess, their name unless they have a product or a company.
Well, there's personal branding and then business branding, right? Those are the two different brandings.
Mm-hmm.
I've ran through this problem frequently because, like, as we do us, we want to blow up our name, but we also want to blow up other shit. But then it's like, well, what do you operate under?
Yeah. What? Yeah. Like what umbrella?
Yeah. So it gets convoluted, and it's easy to be like, I'm Chris Marshall, I'm Frank G, the entrepreneur who is in these ventures, than like creating a logo that represents just much more.
Yeah, like leave a legacy.
Yeah, like, and I can't think of the word, but it's just like a broadcast. Um, and those of
Your
you who
brand,
are
you're saying?
the way I operated it for the most part, we all know what legacy is. I would say it's almost like a philosophy, but it is mainly an umbrella of a marketing company for everything beneath it.
And then as an entrepreneur, all the ventures that you start or begin would be under leave a legacy.
Correct. It's which I guess all makes sense, right? You're trying to leave that legacy, baby. But
Absolutely.
that in itself, people who are professional branders could be like, you know what? That's not a good way of thinking at all. Do you see what I'm saying?
Why wouldn't that be a good way of thinking, though?
Because if it's too convoluted and confusing, how do you present that to the audience if you're, I see what you're saying,
If
this
there's too much
umbrella.
and under it, you're saying.
Correct. Like, is it Chris Marshall? Is it Legacy? Build Your Empire? Like, which one are you repping? Meanwhile, they're all the same. But like, what if I come out with something new? Like
Well,
it,
it is the Build Your Empire podcast, but we all wearing the logo on our heads right here.
because one, this logo. Shout out to the dude who made it over at Yelp. I gave him 2 oil cartridges for this logo, and this logo, I swear, I could walk down the street, and when we walk down the streets, I
Yeah,
mean,
when we were in Utah, we had 2 people walking a dog, and they came up to us specifically because we were wearing a hat that matched. So that was one thing. If more than one person is wearing the logo, it certainly
brand
attracts attention.
sick.
Yeah, and they came up to us inquiring what this was. They knew instantly that it was some type of brand.
And to this day, shout out Nancy. They
Mm,
uh they still check out, Legacy Page. Legacy Page still gets checked out.
shout
Um,
out Nancy.
it's it's very interesting, the path of going through shit. And you've now semi gone through it with the podcast. You become podcast guy.
Yeah, of course. I mean, this is when you see someone that you haven't seen in like a month. That's almost
How's
the
the
first
podcast doing?
question. That's always the first question.
How's the
Yeah,
podcast doing? It's
yeah,
almost like, how's it doing? I mean, I bet you don't listen, but we're still
yeah,
doing it if
yeah,
that's what you're asking.
yeah. You would know how it's going, I guess.
If you listed, you know that we have 118 episodes coming at you every week. Bang, bang.
Yeah, man. We stay consistent on that Monday. We appreciate all you who listen. Speaking,
Especially the one person from France.
the only one.
Yeah, I I tell you, they're like the most loyal fan we got. And dude, when I look at the stats, it's all U.S. and then France. I'm like,
and,
shout
and
out France.
and that was before we interviewed or we hopped on.
This was
How's it
like from
going?
episode 15.
Yeah. So this is before we even like spoke to people in the UK on a podcast. So somehow it got out there on its own.
Yeah, I mean, crazy, crazy how it works.
Would you? So you said there's a difference between personal branding, obviously there is, and business branding. Someone who is, let's say, has a model or an OnlyFans, and they're branding pretty much their name. Does that now coexist? A personal brand and a business brand?
What do you mean, like let's say Lexi Summers
Yeah,
or Summer Rae?
Summer Rae, but she's has. I mean, I
That's
see
that's a
business,
personal brand. She's operating under a personal brand,
and it's working.
of course.
Yeah. So, so I
When I
guess yeah,
when I yeah, basically the difference is having, let's say, a logo or a signature. Like when you watermark content, are you watermarking it with a logo or are
hmm
you watermarking it with like your initials or name?
yeah. I mean, I guess an artist would put his name.
Correct. Like Rob Dyrdek is a personal brand, and then,
Yep.
but then again, he also, I guess, in a way, I'm doing a similar thing. He has, um, damn, I forgot what it's called. I think the Dyrdek machine,
Yeah.
which which is the umbrella, the legacy correlation analogy, and then the business underneath the Dyrdek machine.
Yeah, and then wasn't he like signed to DC long time ago?
Selling,
No, no, signed to.
yeah, he was signed, I think, and then he ended up buying like half of it.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot under his name.
Yeah, but he always operated under his name. When you think Rob Dyrdek,
Yeah,
you think Rob.
yeah, Robin Big.
Yeah,
I
you're
mean,
not thinking Dyrdek machine
yeah,
or ridiculousness.
or
You
the
may,
Fantasy Factory.
yeah, like you may think that stuff, but you're thinking him.
Yeah, I to be honest, I haven't listened to his podcast, um, but I certainly should get on that.
I mean,
Definitely
same
an
thing.
interesting small guy.
Same thing with Summer Rae. She definitely has businesses where she sells workout apparel that we don't even know the name of.
Yeah, I mean, she also has a business under like Samurai Clothing or something like that.
Yeah, but you just know the brand as her, which leads down the rabbit hole. See, it becomes interesting too because when you're doing messaging, if you're messaging behind a business or a logo, is different than also personal branding. Charles Barkley, right? He
Mm,
he doesn't give a fuck about the TNT brand. I was watching a whole documentary on it yesterday. He's just himself, which branded Charles Barkley, which
mm.
ascended him as one of the greatest broadcasters of all time because he is himself.
Well, we've said it from the beginning, right? I mean, if you're not yourself, it's going to be much harder to go anywhere. It's going to be harder to keep up with not being you. And Charles Barkley is just the man, so I mean, it makes sense.
I was getting a guitar lesson yesterday, and we were going back and forth. Let me tell you, I was spitting a lot of lessons learned by the mushrooms. Anyway,
What I mean, we're talking about lessons. We want to remind the folks listening.
well, I mean, lesson number one to me, man, is you just gotta like enjoy the moment. I mean, a memory becomes a moment. A moment's a memory.
Moment is a memory. The second
So like,
you start something, you already are creating that moment, that memory.
yeah, and like I tried telling him how, you know, outside of any trauma or death, depressed people or individuals, the way I see it, and I don't know, um, could come out of it because they once were happy. And then I tried telling him the same way if you're on a vacation and you're at your high, you got to humble yourself knowing that it's going to come back down.
Yeah, that's certainly going to end. Whether it's 6 days, it's going to feel like 3 days.
Yeah. So like I tried explaining not so much that when you're low, you can get high again, but when you're high, you can get low again.
Well, that's so. Yeah, I guess which one is more important to grasp and understand? Because I mean, when you're on that high and you're riding, you feel like $1 million,
Facts.
and then all of a sudden you're in the gutter. Now, is it?
You definitely want to see the perspective of when you're low, you can get high.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
There's not even that's not even a debate. If you're in the gutter, depressed, lonely, in your
Mm-hmm.
room with the lights off, just miserable, you have to understand that you have to open that door. Sunlight has to come through. You got to walk through it, and you got to swag your dick like you're the biggest fucking dude in the world, man.
Oh shit,
yo,
dick
yo,
swinging,
you just got to do it. You got to have dick swinging,
dick
swing,
swinging.
dick swinging,
Kick
man.
that door open and just swinging.
Like, and I don't know. I learned it in psychology too when I was like 19 in college. They said if you just think you'll get out of it, you're like 100 times likely to get out of it than someone who does not.
Yeah, I mean, your thoughts are a powerful thing. I mean, there's been significant injuries people recover from when it's like that. If they keep a positive mind and all that.
Now, the other lesson, by the way, we were talking about the mushies, is how I told them I felt like I was chasing something, like this knowledge, this education, which in
That's an
order,
important one.
like I was, yeah, this was the main one that I discussed with him. I felt like I kept chasing something, and then in the end, you realize there's nothing to chase.
There is nothing to chase.
It 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 just comes.
It's all a free moment, and it's all you're living in the moment. It's the lessons will come. I mean, mushrooms are a powerful thing.
And yeah, I mean, crazy. He my guitar teacher, he's the man. Shout out Lou. Really taught me some shit yesterday. I was chilling. But it was like he was saying how he never really went away. He never really left Staten Island.
Jeez,
And well, I was talking to someone earlier. They also said they haven't been away in like 5 years. So it's like,
crazy.
man, well,
Depends on
that's
their situation, I guess. Are you stuck here for a reason, or is it just a part of your brain that doesn't think you could plan something and just do it?
well, for example, my guitar teachers, like I've never been on a plane or some shit. So like people just never have the opportunity or have that feeling of exploration.
Yeah, I don't know. If you never left Staten Island, I don't, depending on your age, maybe you might be scared at this point to leave. Stuck on this
Maybe,
rock.
but like there's a lot of people who like don't like planes. So like
Oh,
they
of
haven't
course.
so
Of course.
it happens. But like, homie wants to like create a video of him like in the mountains playing a guitar. Like, bro, I want to do that if I was good enough to even do that.
Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't really want to do that? A beautiful scenery. It's
Yeah, I
calming.
wish. I mean, I'm hoping like another year. maybe I could bring around the guitar. We could travel the world, kid, and I could just play you tunes with some great views behind us.
That's another piece of luggage you're gonna have to worry about right there.
Yeah, so the way that works is your guitar counts as a carry-on, which means I'd have to check a
You'd
bag.
have to check a bag now, because usually,
Yeah,
usually when we travel, it's backpack and a carry-on.
man, it's like we're hitchhiking, baby.
We're
Yeah, I tell
just
you what, though, it's fresh ass luggage.
it is fresh ass luggage, and we're just living pretty much what's on our back. Backpacks on our back, and we just want to see new things, meet new people, have fun.
Yeah, energy is contagious. I was upset. Michael K. He said he doesn't believe in energy. I was like, damn, that's like the only thing I disagree with you thus far.
That's interesting. He doesn't believe in energy. I feel
He's
like
like,
energy
he's
is
like,
in
what the fuck
everything.
does that? He's like, what does energy mean? He's like, fuck out of here with that. I'm like, damn, I get your point of view, but nah. Like momentum is kind of tangible.
Well, as in it's contagious, or like you
Like
can.
you can see it.
Well,
Like you can see and feel the momentum.
that I guess is a byproduct of your actions.
Yeah, but momentum is an energy.
Well, yeah, if we're talking actual energy, absolutely.
So when we say momentum, like yo, we're getting momentum. Like you, that's not like a you're not thinking energy. Energy, I am. I'm thinking like that's an energy thing that you're moving forward and like you're seeing progress and success.
I mean, I think everything has energy. So I would agree with you. As I don't think Michael K was correct there, but I mean, I don't have the science behind it, but I'm pretty sure there's energy in everything.
Almost everything.
Yeah.
What was it? What was it? Quantum physics? Didn't we have an episode where one day
We
I was spitting out quantum physics
I'm
facts?
pretty sure that was like during the 15 minutes, 30 episodes of April.
Yeah, because a lot of what I was spitting is what I learned on energy. So
if
it's
you
coming back to me, kid.
if you listen to the 3 minutes, 5 minutes that we were talking about quantum physics, I'll tell you, you sound like a scientist, a genius. Sound like you know what you're talking about. And then if you keep listening, we're back to us. We're not experts.
I don't know if you truly remember the show to give that assessment right now.
I remember that was said.
Do you remember
I do
the very
remember.
first time? Do you remember?
I also remember the first time of this podcast sitting at a dining room table with you.
Yo, that was hilarious. So anyone who is listening right now, obviously you got to do episode 1 to get to episode 100. Episode 1 though, we spoke about our 5, I guess, biggest role models. Episode was like an hour long, but man, we had like handwritten notes working.
Yeah, I mean, at that time it was we were preparing, and then I think preparing for that led us to doing empires of other people, because we spoke about why these people were influencing us, why we looked up to them, and
Oh yeah, that did work. That did work.
yeah, that did just come around. I can't remember off the top of my head how many empire episodes we have, but we
We
certainly
have to
have.
have at least 10, 15.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we definitely did that for a solid few months.
Well, we did that every Thursday. We were on every
Thursday.
Monday, Thursday. So Thursday was typically an Empire episode.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, as there's a lot has changed since then. I mean, now I mean, guests are great. I think guests give more value to you guys listening. And then we have episodes when we're just us. I mean, I
Yeah,
certainly wouldn't be opposed to another Empire episode one day.
we get more viewership
Yeah,
or listenership when we have guests, which obviously makes tons of sense.
of course.
Do you know what? You know what's interesting? Uh, I I I showed you a kid on Instagram like a year ago who I'm like, I don't understand how he's so young, scaling, has all these guest interviews. I was like confused. I was just assuming he's a rich kid who just his parents paid for all these guests.
Oh, the
Remember that
guy,
kid?
the guy that the one I saw, he was interviewing, I think, the creator of that show, on Encore, not Encore. That's the program. The actor who the parties like all the time,
He interviews a
Turtle.
lot. I got you.
What's the name of that show?
Entourage.
Entourage.
Yeah, yeah. He my cousin knew him when they grew up each other. Uh, in Brooklyn. Apparently, he went LA, turned into a douche. Makes sense. But
He was always
so
the smoking weed kid.
that's cool. Ain't nothing wrong with that. So this kid put up a post like, "Do you have a podcast?" So I selected yes.
Mm-hmm.
Then I get on Instagram, his story, but in green, and that means it's
You
to the close friends.
you 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 saw his story in green.
Yes,
Okay, so he selected all the people who hit yes.
yeah, bro.
All right.
He now led me down a sales funnel, and it was brilliant. This fucking guy. So the, he ended up messaging me. He got me. I'm in the sales funnel. He tried selling me a podcast class for $2,500,
Wow,
and he would essentially tell me how he did what he did, right?
which is a
And
mystery.
which is a mystery to me. And me and him, when I initially brought him up to you, I felt like I had maybe slight animosity, or you could just say I was a hater for no apparent reason. Um, we've actually spoke a few times, me and that dude. Now, I take, I guess, those feelings back, although I'm still curious on a lot of shit. And I
Mm-hmm.
tried telling him because he tried selling me, right? And I told him exactly what my pain point is. I was like, one, you slick motherfucker, you got me to sales funnel. That is brilliant. Good for you. On a product that I may be interested in. But I told him, I'm like, hey, I don't think there's nothing you can tell me that is worth that much money that I don't know myself. It's a matter of me doing.
So you told him this.
Yeah, yeah. Like I told him, I was like, hey, look, like I'm not broke. I actually do think you're legit. I think I think you're legit, but I don't think there's nothing you can tell me that is worth this money in which I can spend myself on executing myself. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. So, did he lower the price?
He never responded.
And he looked at it.
Of course.
That's interesting. Um, I mean,
Because like one part of his class is like how he get guests. Well, how you get guests is how you be creative on the sales, like how you're talking to me right now. It's the same aspect. Just
yeah,
message
yeah, yeah.
them creatively. I don't need to pay you, let's say $800 if that was one module. You see what I'm saying? And there's four.
Yes.
I'm not paying $800 for you to tell me go to this website, DM everyone this message, and then the conversions of it. Like it's not. I get that.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't for you then. This product isn't for you. I mean, it could have been.
It is for me though because
Well,
nobody is paying for that unless they're like of my demographic. You see what I'm saying?
yeah,
Who
but
has a podcast, who would invest.
your knowledge in podcasting is past that product though. At least for that price. You
Perhaps.
say he has 10 points. You probably know 6, 7.
And it's whether or not the individual does them themselves.
Yeah.
So
I
the
mean,
information could still be correct.
of course, I'm sure it is if he's successful.
Yeah.
I mean, but there's certainly a difference in. I mean, we at one point I think thought we would have to pay guests, but then we're like, if you don't understand the value of this show, then and you don't want to expand your reach by doing that and hopping on this, then we don't want you.
Yes. Although I'd still pay some people probably 1,000, 2,000 bucks easy to come
Yeah,
on the show.
I mean, I guess if you get hit up by some, yeah, I mean, for
But that's
example, Russ, like,
yeah, but that's like different as well because that money is actually useless. You just want to talk to the individual yourself. They're not contributing unless they repost you. They're not contributing nothing.
oh yeah, well, I mean, at a payment before
You
the
would hope they
payment,
repost you. Probably not. A stud who has mad money and is giving you a time like that. I mean, like we may help, the local business owner expand some reach, but like we're not helping. Like if
oh
someone
yeah,
someone could help us, the 2,000 not worth
100%.
them.
Well, yeah, but that goes back to kind of greed in a.
Karma, agree. Yeah, well, goes back by time, man. If you're mad successful, you may not be able to do it for 2 grand this show to not go any like you know what I'm saying?
I agree, but if you can, I mean, you give. I mean, you give the knowledge back. You give the opportunity back to your
A
community, to
hundred
your
percent,
people.
100%. But like, you also don't know how inundated you are with those type of requests.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's just you may just want to work on your craft. I mean, I'm with you. In fact, I can't wait to blow up like that to literally do someone show like this.
Yeah, if you get your money right, then you get your team on.
Yeah, you get everyone on, and then it all comes down to, I guess, consistency.
100%. And yeah, you you don't get them on, but you certainly help give it opportunities. I mean, it's all up to that person still, regardless. So it is your self perseverance, your consistency, your mindset.
Bro, it's huge. If you get to a point where just your presence could help other individuals, the power and impact of that is only what you can dream of. I mean, that is way more significant than any dollar.
Yeah, no, I agree. What does Drake say in that song? It's the DJ Khaled song. Nothing ever gets as big without a Bieber face. Bieber could do that to someone. Justin Bieber certainly cops on a song, and now it's got 5 million views.
Man, that was brilliant marketing too. During COVID, Drake is in Canada and they do the video shoot with Justin Bieber out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean,
Did, did
smart.
you see did you see the viral video recently of JB going to his house?
Yeah, and denying a fan a hug.
Well, the way the fan asked it's even funnier.
So I didn't really hear what she said, but I heard his like reaction.
After he said his reaction, which was like, "Look, like this is my home. Like when you go at home at night, you just want to relax. Like this is my home. Like you could be anywhere in the world, but here, please no." And then she's just like, "Could I have a hug?" Yo, it was the saddest. It wasn't sad because, well, it
It
was sad
was.
in JB's side.
I felt sad for the girl.
Nah, man, because these went like, well, these girls are like, oh, like she didn't even hear what he said, respectably.
Maybe, but she was focused on the hug.
Well, that's a that's a problem. This dude just probably worked 18 hours and just wants to go to bed, and he can't walk to his door without being like harassed.
Well, that's what happens when with fame. So I mean,
Well, no. His type of stardom and fame is so astronomically different than like other fame. Like Bill Burr. Dude's famous, but like
well,
that's not happening to him.
I'm talking about hip hop artists or actors, people who have a huge demographic or around the entire world. Those like you see Will Smith, there's definitely a fangirl who wants to talk to Will Smith. I'm pretty sure he was once on the red carpet. A fan gave him a kiss on the cheek. Will Smith smacked him in the face.
Will Smith's a star. We did Empire and Will Smith. That was right after his little escapade.
Oh yeah, and when his wife brought it up at the red table, yeah,
Yeah,
sexcapade.
strange. Ha. Yeah, yeah. I tell you, when people hop on the show, they sure freaking love it.
Yeah, I mean, what's not to love, right? You and me, we get along, and we bring that energy, and that energy is contagious. You heard that, Michael K?
Uh, I guess we're gonna end the show. The ironic thing is, we started this show not knowing nothing to say except one thing, and we didn't even say the one thing. That's funny how that works, huh?
Yeah, yeah. Well, when the lights go on, usually so do we.
Yep, we'll be in Miami and Atlanta from July 1 to July 6. I don't know. Maybe you never know. Someone could send this over to someone and be like, "Hey, he's in Miami. Hit me up." I link up with anyone. Don't matter.
Absolutely. Bring the good energy, bring the vibes. We'll bring it. Maybe we'll
Well,
see you in Miami.
thank you for rocking with the best.
We'll catch you guys next week. Peace and love.